Joining me now, David Ehrenberg, state attorney for Trump's home district of Palm Beach County, Florida. Good to see you, my friend. So is it silly, Dave, for Trump to get hearings on what Ty Cobb was describing as flimsy arguments? And if she rules in Trump's favor, should she be, quote, put in her place?
Yes and yes, Alex. It is very unusual not just to give Trump hearings on something that's been litigated and relitigated over and over again. That is the constitutionality of the special counsel. After all, the law empowers the attorney general to make such appointments. But she went beyond that. She's actually giving outsiders, people who are not even parties to this, the chance to do the oral arguments on both sides. I've never seen this before. It's really mind-boggling. And it shows you why she's not the right judge for this case. She's a rookie judge, inexperienced, all by herself over in Fort Pierce without adult supervision. And she's made a lot of rulings that have inured to the benefit of the person who appointed her. That's why a lot of us are scratching our heads, and some have a more nefarious explanation of her behavior. I won't go that far, but it just doesn't look good.
So getting a little deeper into this, at that hearing yesterday, Judge Cannon pressed prosecutors to disclose the extent of Attorney General Merrick Garland's oversight of the Trump investigations, then criticized a lawyer who said it was against DOJ policy to get into those specifics. And this was after Trump's lawyers argued Jack Smith had inadequate oversight. Was that an unexpected question from her? I mean, should a judge be familiar with Department of Justice policy?
Yes, especially because she used to work for the Department of Justice. She used to be an assistant. Yeah, she used to be an assistant U.S. attorney. She was a prosecutor. She was known for being very pro-prosecution. But once Donald Trump came before her as a defendant, she suddenly turned into Better Call Saul. She turned into a civil libertarian. And she doesn't treat other defendants like this. So that's why people are saying, what's going on here? And I do agree with Ty Cobb, Trump's former lawyer, that as long as she doesn't make a clear final order, Jack Smith cannot appeal her to the 11th Circuit. So right now, Jack Smith's in this period of legal purgatory where he can't ask for her removal yet until she does something with a final order that allows him to take it up to her managers in the 11th Circuit.
Were you surprised by the details offered in that New York Times report that Judge Cannon rejected suggestions by other judges, including, by the way, her chief judge, to step aside?
Yeah, can you imagine this, Alex? You're a new judge, and a more senior judge says to you, you know, this should go to the Miami branch, not where you are in Fort Pierce, because they have a SCIF there, whereas Fort Pierce does not. That's that secured area where you can look at these documents. And she said, nah, we'll do it up here. Now she forces the government to build a SCIF for her at great taxpayer expense. Then she gets a call from the chief judge of the district. And the chief judge says, you know, the perception is not good. The optics are not good because you were removed from this case. You made bad rulings last year on the special master. So it should be sent to another judge. And she's like, nah, I got this. I mean, that's chutzpah, right?
Yeah, right.
And I think what she's into is redemption, because she was embarrassed last year by the conservative 11th Circuit. So she wants to prove herself, to prove that she's right to stay on this case. She can handle it herself. She hasn't proven it yet to me, though.
Yeah. Don't taxpayers have to pay for building that SCIF, by the way?
Yes. Yes. Apparently it costs over $1 million. That's the rumor. I mean, Fort Pierce is a satellite courthouse. They've never had a case like this before. And because of her now, they had to build a SCIF, and everything is happening up there, not where the grand jury took place in Miami.
Jack Smith has a new filing on his request for a gag order to stop Trump from falsely claiming the FBI wanted to kill him. He argues Trump cannot ignore the significant risk of harm caused by his own messaging, or contend that because his intentionally inflammatory language results in actions by his supporters, he is entitled to extra constitutional protections. Is Donald Trump just trying to have it both ways? I mean, how do you expect Judge Cannon to rule on this one?
This is a tough one for Judge Cannon because she doesn't want to rule necessarily against Trump. But if she rules for Trump, then Jack Smith will take that to the 11th Circuit.
That's the one he could use.
Not only can get her reversed, they can get her recused from the case. Exactly. So she's in a bit of a trick bag, and that's why I think Jack Smith's got her on this one. We'll see where it goes. One thing that's interesting, Alex, is that she set forth a few hours to have a hearing on this issue. Contrast that to the issue of the constitutionality of the special counsel, something she shouldn't even have a hearing on. She gave that a day and a half. That tells you where her priorities are.
Wow. Can I ask you quickly before I let you go, your sense of why the Supreme Court hasn't yet delivered the immunity ruling?
I think there is going to be a bunch of different opinions, and they, I think, have put their thumb on the scale of justice by delaying this matter. That case was set to go in Washington, D.C. Remember, they could have intervened in December. That's what Jack Smith had asked for, and they said, no, go to the D.C. appellate court. And so Jack Smith did, and the D.C. appellate court came out with a very powerful, very thorough ruling, and the Supreme Court took it and threw it in the trash. So I think the reason for the delay is that they're coming up with several different rulings, concurring opinions. It's going to be a bit of a mess, and I think it'll make it very hard to actually try this case before the election. Although one bright silver lining here, Alex, I think it'll go back to Judge Chutkan to have a series of fact findings, which will let the public know what Donald Trump's role was before, during, and after January 6th. A mini trial, if you will.
Interesting. Okay. It's going to be a busy week. Can we make a date for next weekend again, Dave Ehrenberg? I hope to see you then. Thank you.